like relatively growth stage investors' perspective, and how they do pattern recognition, and then how they can just like spot like the next Magic Leap and the next Oculus. So let's welcome Travis Hatch from SVB to give us a guest, so to like give us a highlight on like what's his view on VR AR as a growth as a growth stage investor.
Thanks.
It's supposed to be me, but somehow you can.
I can do it without the slides. They were great though, I promise.
Okay. No, it's nice to make.
Yeah, I'm not gonna touch it. Don't want to ruin the surprise. All right, so as you mentioned, I'm Travis Hedge from SVB Capital. I'm really here today to talk about applications for virtual reality. So before we get into the tangible applications that are being built today, let's take a look at the big picture and really what's possible. Then we'll look at what people are building today, the applications there, and finally talk about a couple factors that I think you should take into consideration, regardless of what sort of application you're building. So first, I had this really cool graphic that talked about the evolution of technology. Some other speakers tonight have talked a lot about this, that we've gone from the mainframe where technology was accessible for a select few people to tap into occasionally. Whereas today, we're all deeply immersed with our smartphone in our pocket at any given time. This is because we've become more and more immersed with our technology. The capabilities have grown, it's become more and more part of our life, it's become deeply intertwined with our psychology, which is where VR is different than anything we have today. Because this increased sense of immersion, these immersive capabilities from VR give us a sense of presence that was never before possible. So this has implications really throughout our life, anywhere where technology touches. So one example, research has really shown that social isolation is the #1 most predictive factor for health outcomes. And we've all been excited about, hey, I can talk to and feel like I'm in the same room as my family member from across the world. But a couple weeks ago when I was going through the Science and Nature writing of 2014, it's a great book, I highly recommend you check it out. Showed a number of implications for VR for our life today, and this one stood out to me the most, is that social isolation as the #1 most predictive health outcome, factor for health outcomes, more so than stress, more so than poverty, means that VR can not only create great, exciting, fun experiences, but really improve lives for people. That's just one example. You look at education, right, where being deeply immersed in an experience where I'm talking to real people, or so my brain thinks, I would be a lot better at speaking Spanish today instead of reading a textbook like I did in high school. Other examples like productivity, where access to our spatial memory will enable us to leverage technology in ways that will make today look like a typewriter. Then as we think about, again, going back to healthcare, I think people are building real tangible applications there today. If you look at pain management, anxiety management, or even like our friends at Vivid Vision who are helping cure lazy eye doctors across the country. These are just a few of the examples. And one of the reasons I'm so passionate about this is I think a lot of people sort of perceive virtual reality as meant for gaming and entertainment. I think here in Silicon Valley in this crowd, that's probably not the case. But as I was just home, second Ohio breakfast tonight, as I was just home for Thanksgiving, I think if I would have asked a room full of people how many people have used and are familiar with virtual reality, we've only gotten a few hands. So we're just really at the beginning of showing the world what is possible. And this is a really special moment in time. So I think a couple of factors to think about when we look at the applications for virtual reality. Maybe not as many people are talking about. One, I think, is the level of corporate involvement. Obviously, investors are really excited about what's going on in virtual reality. You've got a number of familiar faces here tonight. But companies are leaning in a major way and experimenting because no one wants to miss out on the next move, right? So you've got examples like the New York Times doing their Google Cardboard experiment, Major League Baseball, giving everyone an opportunity to have that seat behind home plate. Those are just a couple of examples that they're investing in a significant way that, frankly, I don't see in many other industries. Folks like Intel Capital Capital, Google Capital, etc. Google Ventures, pardon me. And then, but it's also a partnership, right? So not only should you be looking for these corporates for investment dollars, but there's significant partnership opportunities there as well. They're heavily engaged, and you should really take advantage of that as an entrepreneur. Another piece, which I think everyone's familiar with, but is critically important, is really distribution. There's three tranches of immersion when you think about products today. The first is Google Cardboard. Next slide. The first is Google Cardboard, right? So that low-end, low-immersion technology that's accessible for the masses. Next, you've got sort of the Gear VR, which is another level up, but still doesn't have the horsepower that the top-tier solutions from folks like Sony, HTC, Oculus have to offer. While this is probably pretty obvious to everyone in the room, I think the one thing to understand is that each of these has a differentiated distribution advantage, right? So whether it's cardboard you're distributing through a browser or their app store, you're looking at Samsung distributing through Milk, or you're looking at the Oculus platform and Facebook, you're reaching different users. So regardless of whether you're building an application with an educational focus, entertainment, gaming focus, whatever it may be, just keep in mind that you've got to build that content and that experience with your end user in mind, as with any technology. But where you choose to distribute, whether it be across all platforms or choosing one or the other, that really matters. So content is king, your consumer is king, and these distribution platforms really matter, regardless of what experience you're creating. So thanks for having me, and you can find me, I guess, on Twitter at @the_hedgefund. Thanks.
Thank you, Travis. Can you stay on the stage for a while? Yeah. Because we have just one question for you. Because if we look at this slide, what is the recommendation for all the startup, so small startup? Because it looks like the distribution channel has been blocked by all these big players, Sony, Google, Samsung. And do you think the startup for VR, they can just do application or content? What's the recommendation for them?
Yeah, I think I get more excited about opportunities to play across all the platforms. Personally, I think that's really the end goal we should be shooting for. I think a lot of people are sort of waiting to see what develops, whether it be in-browser experiences or the App Store model. Frankly, I think just continue to build partnerships with every platform. It's so early that to pigeonhole yourself with one or the other doesn't necessarily make sense. Like I said, each has its own sort of core group that it's going to appeal to. So try to develop across the platforms, and frankly, I think there's other smart people that can probably answer that question better than I can.
Thank you, Travis. Okay, now we are going back to our pitch session. So the next one is VROI. VROI?